Do not know what to charge my 33 female BF, 34 male, in rent. I've been dating my BF for about 2 years now, but we have never truly lived together in this time. Though over the last 6 months or so he might stay at his own place 3 days throughout the week. I enjoy him being at my place, and have asked him countless times if he would like to move in. Recently things have come up that make it an even better idea for him to move in, and he's actually considering it, but wants a set rent, and wants me to tell him what that would be. I have no idea what would be fair honestly, so thought I'd ask for some advice. I'm content paying my own bills as I have been doing so. I've consistently made more during our relationship 70K versus 50K, give or take, and have less bills overall, one of the reasons I've always offered for him to stay. House bills consist mostly of utilities $300-500 a month, mortgage $600 a month, $200 extra for random extras, and a once-a-year big reno about 5K-7K, which I save up for all year. Only adding the reno as it's why the mortgage is so low, so I like to think of it as mortgage payments too. But it will also give a good idea of what the house expenses look like. What is everyone's thoughts on what I should charge? Nothing isn't an option I've tried. TDLR, I don't know what to charge my boyfriend who insists on paying rent. Do you have combined finances? Is he going to be doing any of the renovation work? If not, you're in more of a landlord/tenant situation. Charge him half the market rent, split the utilities, and you pay for the renovations, taxes, and insurance on your own. And make sure he signs a lease to protect both of you. What is market rent for a similar house in your area? What is he currently paying in rent? You can charge anything from half of the utilities to half market rent. Just make sure he signs a month-to-month lease and can't claim he is entitled to any of the equity in your home. Do not let him pay for any repairs or renovations or build sweat equity. If you were just renting an apartment, splitting directly proportional to income makes sense and would make sense for expenses like trips. With a mortgage, you need to protect your investment as well as make sure he contributes to his own housing. Sometimes AHs think that since you have a mortgage and are building equity, they should get a free ride. Whatever you do, make sure you get a lease so you have a clear path to kick out if needed. What are rents for lodgers in your area? He's your lodger, a permitted occupier, and you should draw up an agreement accordingly to protect both of you, but you especially as you are not giving him a claim in equity to your house. If he is WFH, he'll drive up your energy bills. Speak with an attorney about establishing an ironclad rental agreement or lease agreement. Do not do this without consulting an attorney first. He will respect you more once you show him how much you respect yourself. Please create a cohabitation or lease contract. You can probably find both documents online for a small fee. If your mortgage plus utilities are $1,000, maybe a 60/40th split to adjust for income disparity. Good luck, OP. I found out my 32F husband, 32M, was having an affair the day I had a miscarriage. First of all, I'm in a safe place and away from him. I need some guidance on what the next few days and weeks should look like. I am currently awaiting a call from a crisis psychiatrist and a follow-up call from my obstetrician. 2 days ago, my husband, together for 10 years, and I attended an appointment with my obstetrician. I was 10W2D pregnant, and at my scan at 7W3D we had seen an empty sac with no fetus. I did 2 blood tests to measure change in HCG levels, but they were on the low end and not increasing, so we were expecting to lose the pregnancy. This was my first ever pregnancy, and it was planned and so wanted at least by me. We booked a D&C for 2 days later, but that same afternoon I spontaneously begun a natural miscarriage at around 5 p.m. The amount of blood was like nothing I'd ever seen, and tissue and massive blood clots began coming out too. By 6 p.m., I had soaked through 2 pads and called my obstetrician's office out of hours number. Got the on-call doctor who said if it doesn't slow in the next couple of hours, and or if I feel faint to head to hospital. Next was the worst couple of hours, but things did slow down by about 9 p.m., so I felt horrific but thought I was okay. At 10 p.m., I went to heat up a heat pack and saw my husband's phone on the bench light up with an explicit message. He had purchased a new phone that day, but left his old phone on the bench. It was on and connected to the Wi-Fi still. Of course I was shocked and opened the message. What I saw was beyond horrific, hundreds, thousands, of explicit sexual and romantic messages from his coworker, 35F. I read a couple and immediately confronted him. I had a complete breakdown, screaming and crying. I smashed my own hands into the concrete stairs, but I didn't hurt or touch him or break anything. I demanded to read all of the messages. I made him go through the complete timeline with me. He showed me everything, including the love letters she had written him. Their affair began about 4 or 5 weeks ago. They worked together. They have known each other since the beginning of this year, since she started working for his company, but only began this project together a few months ago. I'm not going to say his field, but there are lots of late nights, and their roles were really intertwined. I have met both her and her partner several times, and thought she was lovely. 10 days after we got my positive pregnancy test, they had sex after work one night, at work after everyone had left. During this busy project period, I had been staying up late to collect him from the train station each night. He came home to me that same night, and I was none the wiser to what he had just done. He told me as we were talking that he said to her he didn't want to continue after that first time. She gave him some space, but then approached him with the idea of trying to flirt and connect with me. I am also attracted to women, but didn't know that about her. So over the last few weeks they orchestrated 3 separate times where they were both alone with me. One time her partner came too, where she attempted to flirt with me. Because I love and am faithful to my husband, I did not clock this, and in retrospect she was really fucking bad at flirting anyway. I did have a thought that her partner was flirting with me, but obviously did not reciprocate. To clarify about her partner, I didn't know this, but they don't have a monogamous relationship, and he wanted her to sleep with other people, including while he was in the house, and could hear them. My husband did tell me he was never comfortable with her partner being in the house, so didn't have sex with her in that scenario. So they basically had the idea that maybe if I liked her that she could be our girlfriend of sorts. For me, it was something I was open to in the past, and had communicated that with my husband, but it was never something he wanted, and I respected that. I love him incredibly, and was more than pleased to be in a loving monogamous relationship with him forever. During this time, their affair continued. They slept together I think 4 more times, twice at her house and twice at hotels, all during daytime hours while I was at work. Their hours are usually afternoon/night. On top of this they had lunches, dinners, and drinks together, as well as a very constant sexting and emotional and intellectual relationship. When reading through their messages, they would both talk about their partners. Her partner knew the whole time about and consented to their relationship. I obviously had no idea. They spoke about feeling guilty and afraid of hurting me. He told her about dates he took me on, things we did together, and how much he enjoyed himself. He told her I was pregnant after the first time, and she said she was happy for me and wanted to take care of me. She is apparently infertile and had multiple miscarriages, and my husband even suggested that I speak with her about it when we first found out I would likely miscarry. He also kept having sex with me during this time. 2 days before my first scan I started getting painful vaginal symptoms which turned into a horrific UTI and thrush infection. Yes, he was having unprotected sex with us both. I have literally never had a UTI before in my life, and thrush twice total, and not for ages. The infection was so incredibly painful and took nearly 2 weeks to clear. When it happened he said he did some research and said that pregnant people are just more susceptible. But I can't rule out the possibility that the UTI he gave me caused the miscarriage. I also can't get over the fact that I would not have consented to sex with him if I knew he was cheating. So now I feel like the sex we had for the last month was not fully consensual. He said he kept having sex with me because he loves me and loves being close to me. Not enough though apparently. I also can't stop think that what if she gets pregnant with his baby now? I ended up in hospital that night, both because I knew I had lost an insane amount of blood and felt horrific, but also because of the trauma and emotional turmoil he caused. I am no longer in this headspace now, but I had a very scary thought of wanting to end my life. I won't take any action on this now, but I still feel like I wish I could just go to sleep and never wake up, or sink into the earth and disappear. He didn't want me to leave, but I knew I needed to get help, so I went to the ED. It was horrific and I was so alone. Eventually, as I started being treated, things improved. The OBGYN at the hospital knew my normal obstetrician well, and incorporated her into my care. Within 24 hours my marriage and baby were gone. I feel so numb and traumatized. My home is gone. I don't really have good support systems, but I do have good health care, and I love my job. The worst feeling is I both love my husband incredibly and truly feel he is my soulmate, but also hate him so much for his behavior. And I flick back and forth between these two states constantly. I feel sick because I also find her attractive. It could have been so different had he told me the truth about the crush when it began. But the betrayal cannot be reversed. I made vows to this man, and despite him seemingly not caring about the vows he made, to be true to myself and my love, I have agreed to try couples counseling. I am still very motivated to have children, but at this point I feel not with him, despite that being all that I wanted before. He has offered to pay for egg freezing for me to try and buy time, but I don't particularly need his money, and I feel more angry that he has both diminished my chance of having children, or as many as I wanted, as well as taken time spent with my children in my life. I feel he's stolen a few years of my relationships with my future child/Rin from both me and them. Lastly, he is incredibly remorseful and is ready to do whatever I need him to. He has told her, and they have ceased communication and rearranged their work roles as much as feasible, but do have their project due/presentations next week. After that he will not be in future projects with her, as far as is feasible. I am staying with my in-laws, who are the only people who know the whole situation. My mother-in-law loves me like her own child and cried with me. I love her as a mother. She said I can stay however long I need, and she will help me with whatever I want. I don't speak with my own parents, so not an option. I feel like this is getting very long, but would sincerely appreciate intellectual insight into dealing with infidelity and miscarriage. Videos and articles are helpful. Absolutely do not go back to him. Have the separation period and file for divorce. Move on and heal. This coming from someone who's been in the same position at the same age. Life is too short to stay with low lifes like that. A soulmate wouldn't do this to you. Find a good therapist and divorce lawyer. Divorce babe, divorce. Jesus. He's only sorry he got caught. It's not that he felt so horrible he had to tell you. You found out and confronted him. He would have kept it going if you hadn't seen that. Plus he was trying to trick you into a relationship with them so they could not feel bad, and he probably still would have never told you they screwed before. That infection very well could have been why he caused the miscarriage. Also, even if it wasn't, he was willing to risk the health of your baby by having unprotected sex with another woman. Do you want that kind of man as a father to your kid? Leave. Leave and find a partner who will move mountains to keep you and your future child safe. Get a therapist now. This sort of thing can really mess you up. Give yourself grace. Everything you are feeling is reasonable. Talk to a professional about it. I am so incredibly sorry for your loss. Self-respect girly, come on, work with me. Sorry about your miscarriage. He's as trash human though. Yes, he was having unprotected sex with us both. Foul, disgusting, could never forgive. Even without the fact you were miscarrying his child. What does his mom say about this debacle? My SIL 40F wants her parents to spend Christmas at my house, 32F. Okay, so for context, my husband and I have been together for a long time, but we've only been married for about 3 years. We've always done Christmas Day separately because my parents are quite introverted and keep to themselves, and his family have their own routine, and their immediate family is quite small too. Usually we need to travel to both of our parents from where we usually live, about a 3-hour drive. My SIL finds this trip quite tiring and would rather have my in-laws stay at our house to make traveling easier. We live close enough, so my SIL. She thought it was okay to suggest this, because I usually spend it at my parents' house, but the thought makes me uncomfortable because my MIL doesn't like me and has become increasingly hostile since we married. She also has some problems with alcohol, and this has caused a lot of tension at recent family get-together. When we bought our house, she was also getting too involved in what we were doing to the house, and we had to set some boundaries. Because they can be like this. I think this is why STL is suggesting that they should stay at our house rather than her own house. When we were hesitant and suggested maybe rotating hosting duties, they seemed confused and said they couldn't understand why we wouldn't want to host them ourselves. What would be a good compromise? I generally get on well with my SIL, and I haven't explicitly mentioned not getting on with MIL to her because I want to try keep relations as positive as possible. That won't work for us, but we'd be happy to see them when they stay with you. If she continues to push, be honest about your mean MIL. Is she your SIL's mom? If she is, it makes way more sense for her to stay with her daughter. LOL, your SIL isn't confused. She's playing dumb to get her way. No is a complete sentence. She's the one with the issue driving. Then she can host if she doesn't want to. She doesn't get to volunteer someone else's house. I would have your husband communicate something like, That doesn't work for us. We like to have our own space. We are happy to drive to their place like usual, or if you want to have them stay at your place, we'd be open to that as well. The fact that there is already a status quo that you're fine with puts you in the power position here. Just let her know your place is not an option. You don't need a reason. You can just say, I'm sorry, but it just won't work for us. Perhaps you could both chip in for a hotel or Airbnb for in-laws if it's not too expensive. The obvious compromise is for your in-laws to stay with their own daughter. Maybe you could frame it as, I really think your mother would prefer to stay with you if she has to travel at all. But really, since they are getting older, I think it makes more sense for us to travel to them, the way we usually do. If she persists, just keep saying, that's not going to work for us. You don't have to give a reason why your SIL can't arrange other people's lives to suit her own. What does your husband want to do? My 42 male, wife 40 female, constantly wants new animals? I'm at my wit's end. My wife is constantly barraging me with the desire for new animals. At least 5x a day, she's sending me cats, dogs, lizards, ducks, chickens, etc. Currently we have 5 cats, 5 dogs, and 3 kids, all under 10, and have promised to get my middle child a guinea pig because it's her heart's desire, contingent on responsibility checks. She knows I don't want any more animals. I am the one primarily responsible for caring for them. She knows this and acknowledges it, but still sends me all these animals telling me how badly she wants them. I then have to navigate the fine line between acknowledging that she sent them and agreeing that they're cute, while also telling her no. It's just so incredibly stressful and feels like I get no reprieve. Any thoughts on how to manage this in a way that doesn't hurt my wife's feelings, or end up with me getting yet another animal? I think you need to worry less about hurting your wife's feelings and prioritize your own feelings. Where do you draw the line? You take care of 5 dogs and 5 cats already, and 3 kids. Your wife sounds extremely selfish, to be honest. Just tell her no. Why are you the one primarily responsible for caring for the animals? Where do you live? Most places have ordinances in place for how many animals can live in a dwelling, and 5 dogs and 5 cats is probably already well over what is legally allowed. Maybe you need to sit down and talk with her. Figure out what's behind all this. Also, guinea pigs need a friend. Just say no. This isn't hard. We have enough animals, and I am not willing to get more. Please stop sending me listings for animals to adopt. If you do, I will ignore them and not respond to your messages/emails about it. Done. This isn't about animals. What's eating her?